This year's distinguished speaker for the 2016 John and Lynn Muse Lecture is Purple Heart recipient Staff Sergeant Spencer Stone. Staff Sergeant Stone played a crucial role in preventing the Paris train terrorist attack in August 2015. Joining him from the Office of the Secretary of Defense at the Pentagon is moderator Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Basic, USAF class of '93. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Basic and Cadet First Class Ryan Keeney to the stage.
An excerpt from the 1993 commencement speech by former President Ronald Reagan at the Citadel, South Carolina. For you see, the character that takes command in moments of crucial choices has already been determined. It has been determined by 1,000 other choices made earlier in seemingly unimportant moments. It has been determined by all the little choices of years past, by all those times when the voice of conscience was at war with the voice of temptation, whispering the lie that it really doesn't matter. It has been determined by all the day-to-day decisions made when life seemed easy and crises seemed far away. The decisions that piece by piece, bit by bit, developed habits of discipline or of laziness, habits of self-sacrifice or self-indulgence, habits of duty and honor and integrity or dishonor and shame. Because when life does get tough and the crisis is undeniably at hand, when we must, in an instant, look inward for strength of character to see us through, we will find nothing inside ourselves that we have not already put there. Thanks, sir.
General Johnson, distinguished visitors, alumni supporting programs like this, cadets, visiting community members, just all around awesome people. Thank you for demonstrating yet again that things like this matter, that taking the time to focus on this mountain with no top, character and leadership development, professionalism development is a worthwhile journey. And through stories about the moments, big and small, in all sorts of different formats, they count because they challenge us to try and get this right. So thanks to the alumni for setting the stage for these things to happen, because these matter. They matter to me as a dad, as a husband, as an officer, as a son. I'm trying to get this right. Moment by moment, we should be paying attention. But here's the thing. Here's the challenge that goes to all of you over the next day. An amazing day today, getting exposed to moments. And you're probably pretty inspired. But inspiration, here's what we know about inspiration. It's like a spark. It's like a match that you strike. It burns bright and hot, and it's interesting, and it excites us, but it's temporary. Unless it's hooked into something that allows it to endure. And that is a commitment. And that's your challenge. As you listen to stuff, as you listen to moments like the one you're about to hear, and it's a good moment, but an amazing guy, a great guy, who's in our family and had a testable moment. The challenge to all of us is, how would I respond in that moment? But the commitment thing over the next day, the challenge is, so what are you going to do differently? So you're inspired by watching Master Sergeant Del Toro. We got that right. Seeing how that works in our family, we celebrate that. It feels good because it's the right thing to do, and it inspired you. Okay, so given that, if I'm watching you live and lead, what should I notice different? What are you committing to do differently? That's the burden to all of us. Otherwise, we're wasting our time. This is a game-on moment for all of us. But there are moments that capture our attention and set the stage for that commitment. And here comes one of them, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring to the stage Staff Sergeant Spencer Stone. They put the first slide up already, okay. So we'll just keep talking and then you can work from there, all right? All right, so let me set the stage for how we're going to do this, because we want some question and answer time. I'm not interesting, he is. So we're going to get to question and answer time, but we're going to go on a little journey first. You don't know this guy, so we're going to do a speed meeting really quickly to see if you know this guy and can connect with this guy. Then we're going to explore one or maybe a couple of moments that have put him in a very interesting position for our profession and our nation. So you ready?
Yes, sir.
Speed meeting. Here we go, brother.
All right,
Let's do this. Where'd you grow up?
Sacramento, California.
All right, big city guy.
Cali.
Did you play sports growing up?
A lot of basketball, 1 year of football. Wasn't that good.
Okay, describe your family.
Close-knit, raised by a single mother. Father was an alcoholic. Went through a lot of custody battles growing up, things like that. And mother did it all on her own, no child support. So, you know, she's one of my heroes.
Awesome. Favorite movie?
Predator.
Nice. Well played. Nice. All right. Any hobbies?
I like to jujitsu.
Really? Favorite type of music?
R&B.
R&B, rhythm and blues.
Anthony Hamilton, all day.
I would bet people peg you for
Being a country guy.
country guy.
No, I don't know.
Big
I can't tell you
corn-fed
how
looking.
many times I've been said, "Oh, you look like from the South. You're corn-fed."
R&B,
I've
I
had
get
cornbread like 10 times in my life. So.
I got snizzle in my grizzle too, so I get that. Okay, you have no. I don't even know what that means. Not married? Married?
No.
All
Girlfriend.
right. Have you ever been stabbed by box cutters?
I have.
All right, we'll
Yes.
get to that. Interesting. Okay. That never works. This is great. Okay. Why'd you join the Air Force?
To be a SEER specialist initially, and then I failed out, and I was reclassed into being a medical technician. And I always wanted to get out and go be a paramedic firefighter on the outside anyway, so it was kind of, I think God was leading me in that direction naturally.
Okay. Very cool. So you've been in the Air Force for how long?
A little over 3 years.
3 years. So your duty AFSC right now is your career field right now,
Medical technician.
medical technician. That may play an important point later on.
It may.
Okay. So we're going to go back. There's a couple guys that matter in this story. And you've known these guys for a while. So explain who the heck these guys are and how they connect to you.
So that's Alex Carlatos, Anthony Sadler. My mother is best friends with his mom. We've been neighbors since we were 5 years old. Me and Alec went to a private school, met Anthony, and from there we kind of all dispersed, started going to public school. Anthony went to another one. Me and Alec went to the same one at first. Alec moved to Oregon, but we've all just connected here and there. We can pick up like it's, you know, it hasn't been long at all.
Just good
Yeah,
buddies
just good
from
friends.
back
Just
in
good
the
friends.
day. Now, one of them's still in school at this time.
Anthony goes to Sacramento State, and he's a senior there studying kinesiology.
Okay.
Alec just got off his dancing tour, and he'll be going to sniper school for the Army in August.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dancing with the Stars. Interesting. All right, but at this time, he's in the Army, actually stationed in Afghanistan, right?
Yeah, during that time.
Okay, during
He's
that
doing
time.
a tour in Afghanistan.
So you three are all sort of dispersed, but there's an opportunity maybe for your lives to intersect a little bit again, correct?
Exactly.
Is that the plan?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I get to Lajes. It's in the Azores. It's about 900 miles off the coast of Portugal. And Alec's going to be coming off his deployment, so we start to plan a trip. I tell Anthony, I was like, hey, we're going to go on this trip. It's going to be epic. He's like, man, I don't have any dough for this. And I was like, I'm the responsible one. Go take out a credit card. You know, you can pay it off later. Don't worry. It's all good.
So stand by. All right.
He didn't know I was going to
This
say
is
that.
what we call a teachable moment right here. Those kind of friends not helping you at that moment, okay? That is not magic money. Epic and get a credit card. Join me. Good idea. All right. So there you are. Continue.
So we plan the trip. You know, me and Anthony are starting the trip together. We meet up with Alec. This is about halfway through in Amsterdam. And we get on to our train. And little did I know, afterwards, I'd be coming out looking like this.
Okay, now I've never traveled on a train in Europe, okay? So let's paint a picture because sort of the layout of things as you tell this story is going to matter.
Yes.
So it's, is it equivalent to like flying in sort of the cabin of an aircraft or something like that?
Yes,
Where-
exactly.
Okay, so you've got rows of seats?
One narrow hallway going down, 2 or 3 seats on each side.
Okay.
It can fit about 50 people per cabin.
Okay.
And in between each cabin, there's a corridor with bathrooms, room for luggage, and things like that.
Okay, so the bathrooms like a plane are sort of in back and the front of the train, sort of the
Exactly.
cockpit of the airplane, so to
Where,
speak,
you know,
is over there.
big credit card limit, so we were high rollers, first class.
Nice.
So we were
we got credit cards, why wouldn't you? Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
We were the very first train cabin in the whole train.
Okay. So, you get the picture. There's an aisle there, and I didn't realize this, but there's sort of flight attendants or train attendants, right, that are working on the aisle.
Exactly.
Okay. So, walk us through this moment. Go ahead.
So, we're in our cabin. I'm asleep. While I'm sleeping, the shooter was in the bathroom watching extremist videos, beheadings, shootings, things like that, getting himself pumped up. He's got an AK-47, nearly 300 rounds of ammunition, 9mm pistol, box cutter, and a small can of gasoline. Apparently he was going to light the train on fire when he was done. He comes out of the bathroom. There's a man waiting there to go. They get into a little scuffle initially. A man.
Are you aware of any of this at this time?
No, I'm asleep.
Okay.
This whole time, I got my headphones on. I'm kicked back, relaxing. I'm a hard sleeper too, so I'm not going to wake up to anything, even a gunshot.
Okay.
So Mark McGallion comes in. He sees the fight going on. He's in the mix. One of the train employees comes up, and he's just trying to do his job, his duty. Hey, people fighting on a train. Let me just put this out. He gets in the middle of it, sees the guy's got an AK-47, and he says, "Oh no!" And he starts to run towards the front of the train.
All right,
let
me paint that picture. So Mark, the guy you mentioned, was waiting at the bathroom door.
There was another man who wants to remain anonymous, so that's why kind of a tricky story.
Okay.
But he was there, and then Mark joined.
Okay, so these two guys are by the bathroom door. It opens, out comes this, and there's a scuffle, and the train attendant says, "This is a moment for me. I need to stop stuff like this." There's a courage to do that. He runs over to this, and in separating them, he realizes this is a whole different level.
This is serious.
Than I thought.
Yeah.
Turns around and says, "Not for me."
See you later. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab my other train attendants, and I'm gonna go in the safe room.
So does he go to the
He goes towards the front of the train. Uh-huh.
Okay, and then where's he go when he runs to the front of the train?
He runs through, wakes me up. His commotion woke me up. I'm sleeping probably right where you are, right here, right there, and turned around the other way.
Okay.
So he runs past you. I wake up from the commotion. I look over at Anthony. He's waking up. I look over at Alec. He's been awake, so he's already turned around. Kind of wondering what's going on. I'm taking my headphones off. As I'm looking back, I hear glass breaking, people screaming. And then that's when I see him coming into the train, and the AK-47 had been on the ground because Mark had took it and gotten shot and then dropped it. So first things I see is the train goes dead quiet, and then just him coming in and then racking around to the AK-47.
Mark has been shot at this time.
He's been shot. I'm not aware of it. I didn't even really see him.
Okay.
He crawled in between some seats.
Okay.
He didn't want to get shot again, so he's trying to hide.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
So here you are now. Looking back, you're hearing footsteps coming towards you. You've had the train attendant zip past you, say, "I don't want any piece of that magic." He runs this way, and is he telling somebody what's happening?
No, the whole place was just dead quiet for a couple of seconds, and all I heard was the guy coming in, and then working his gun. I turn around, I'm in shock at first, obviously, who wouldn't be? And then I see, he either didn't give it a swift stroke to the gun, and something was going on. I just know he hadn't started shooting yet. So, gotta go now. My friend Alec hits me on the shoulder, says, "Go, Spencer." I take off right at him. Exactly.
All right.
Hey, to be fair, I had the action seat. I was on the aisle, so there was no way for Alec to go first, so you had to tell me to go.
All right, so this friendship, burn your credit cards, dude, you go.
Dude, you go tackle a guy.
All right, interesting. So he says, Spencer, go. This is the moment.
This is it, yeah.
And your response, because I think a lot of people would go, dude, you go, right? But not at that moment. So
I think we're all in the same mindset. We've always talked about situations like this. We've always been interested in war movies and action and things like that. So we've all played out this scenario before, saying if this were to happen, this is what we do. So I think we were all mentally prepared for that moment, and we just went. And if Alec was in the aisle seat, he would have got up first. It would have just been the smart thing, and I would have followed him. So I take off down the hall, This is like the longest run of my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, I either close my eyes or I just black out because I just think I'm gonna get lit up by this guy.
Well, let's switch seats.
Yeah.
You're up here. Okay. I'm a visual guy, so this helps me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I turn around, you got an AK, I'm
I'm
coming
on.
at you. And then,
We're just acting this out. We're not.
yeah, I'm not gonna. As I come into, I make it to him surprisingly. As I come in, he hits me in the face with the AK-47. So immediately I can't see anything out of my right eye. I'm bleeding. It's not a great way to start the fight.
Right.
You can kind of see, got a little baby cut above my eyebrow there, a little bandage on it. And we're kind of at a stalemate on the ground, standing up. I'm trying to reach for the gun. I feel it a couple of times, but then my jiu-jitsu kicks in, and I just went to what I knew, wrapped myself around him, put him in a rear naked choke, flung. Fell back against the glass, bashed the back of my head a little bit. And so at that point, my friend Alec runs up, and he's a gun nut, and he's in the infantry in the Army. Comes up, he grabs the AK, and I'm like, we're good, we got him.
And now he didn't try and shoot you or anything as you're running down.
Well, he did, but after the fact, when this is all said and done, friend Alec, ejected around, just trying to figure out why the gun wouldn't work. And it was a bad primer, so he aimed and shot at me, but the bullet didn't go off, and so I'm sure he's freaking out, big white guy running at him, click, oh, this isn't working, and it's not going according to plan.
Okay, so yeah, you got a freebie.
I got God looking out for me for sure.
So you got.
Yeah.
So this thing playing out, you get a freebie.
I get a freebie.
Okay. You follow through, naked chokehold, awesome, and you're on the ground now.
We're pinned between a table and some chairs. I have my back, so now I'm on the side of the train, and my head is against the glass. I'm on his back, and Alec runs up, grabs the gun. He says, stop, stop, stop. And I kind of give him a look. I'm like, shoot this guy. And nothing happens. Then next thing I know, I see a pistol go by my peripheral.
So he's got the other weapon on him. He pulls out a pistol. You're behind him.
Exactly. He's reaching back, puts it against my head, pulls the trigger, doesn't go off. Again. So Alec throws the AK down, pries the handgun from his hands, starts to beat him in the face with the gun, so I was helping. And then, I don't have my choke in all the way, because otherwise he would have been out in like 10 seconds. So
his arms
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. His arms are free, they're flailing. And next thing I know, I just kind of imagine taking a box cutter and opening a box. That's exactly what it sounded like. Dragging across the back of my neck. I'm like, ugh. And then I look over at my left thumb, and it's cut down to the bone, severed my tendon and nerve. And I'm confused at this point. I'm like, well, how did that even happen?
Where's he getting all this stuff?
Exactly.
Is somebody handing him things?
He sucks at everything else, but he's good at cycling through his weapons.
Okay.
So they sent their worst. And then so. Where am I?
So you've
What
been
am I doing?
stabbed in
Yeah.
the back of the head now.
Stabbed in the back of the head, thumb almost cut off. I look over his shoulder, and that's when I see him gripping the box cutter, and I start to scream, hey, he's got a knife, get him off me. I kick him off me. At this point, I'm just trying to get some distance between me and him. And then we all stand up, and myself, Alec, and Anthony, we're all kind of standing in a circle, and we just kind of have this moment where we all look at each other, and I'm like, what now? Okay, so I guess we just start punching him and kicking him, whatever. Pretty much jump him. And then he lunges himself at me. I kind of threw him and pinned him against the table. Alec comes up, holds him down with me. Alec grabs the handgun, cocks it back. He tells the guy to stop again, gave him fair warning. He's still struggling, like he's not going to stop. So Alec, click, tries to shoot him with the handgun. Didn't go off. Apparently somehow the magazine had fallen out. I don't know how there wasn't one in the chamber after he just got done shooting someone, but then again, God, he just works in mysterious ways. So
So
at that point, I'm like, all right, I gotta get this guy unconscious. And then so I throw him in another rear naked choke, slam my head against the window again, and then at that point, I was, choking him, punching me in the face. I just gotta take him until he goes out. I can feel him just dragging his hand over my face. I'm like, finally, it's over. And then next thing I know, Anthony screams out, hey, this guy's been shot. I'm like, what are you talking about? I wasn't even awake for a gunshot. What do you mean?
So let's pause here, because I know there's laughter as explaining this. This is a serious moment.
Yeah, very serious.
The adrenaline is obviously pumping. There's blood all over the place. You don't know if there's going to be another guy coming through the door. I mean, this has got to be bizarro world right now.
Exactly.
Now, here's something I want to focus on, because I think we're going to come back to this. When you come running down that aisle, there's people in the seats, right? How many people would you say there are?
There was about, give or take, 25 people between me and him.
Do you think they were aware that there was somebody?
Everyone was aware. Everyone was looking right at him. There was people sitting next to him, just looking. They could have done something, but I mean, I guess I can understand. But I said, hey, I'm not going to die. So at the end of the day, I helped save people, but in the end, I was just trying to save myself.
But I think everybody's got this sort of primal reaction. Nobody says, okay, hey, if I die, that's fine. I don't think anybody thinks that. Yet, the moment was at hand. Mm-hmm. And you had 25 people not go.
Yeah.
I just think that's interesting, because I think all of us have to question, are we in the aisle or are we in the seat? I hope I would be in the aisle. But I bet all those 25 people would have anticipated I'd be in the aisle too if something like that happened to me. Yet they weren't. And now when you did go down the aisle, you had people join in, was that a signal?
So basically, my learning moment was I acted as the spark in that entire situation, and me getting up and running at him enabled everyone else around me to kind of snap out of it and get up and do something with me. And I think that goes like a long way with leadership and how all you guys are going to be commanding people, and you're going to have to be that spark between the 1 and 25. And it could be any situation. It doesn't have to be on a train with a guy with a gun and trying to kill you. It's going to be at home, at work, with your friends, and you're just going to have to take that with you and be that spark.
Yeah. So you had a go moment. Everybody had a go moment. You went. I think that's just interesting. So there you are. This guy's subdued.
He's down.
He's down.
So a Britishman by the name of Chris Norman ends up taking some ties and hog tying him. I didn't even know until I saw a video we're going to show you soon that he had got hog tied, because I go over to Mark. I see him collapsing. He's got a hole in his neck. It's gushing blood. I scream, hey, I'm a medic. Someone hold this guy down. I run over. I tell Mark, hey, get on the ground. I'm going to try and help you. I'm a medic. And then I take my shirt off. That's how I end up shirtless. But, I was getting a whole pressure, and I realized quickly that wasn't going to work, so I just threw that and just stuck my finger in his neck. I could feel his artery pulsating, and I just pressed down, and the blood flow just completely stopped. And it was just like, thank God. Okay, you might not die right in front of me. And then I'm just, trying to keep him awake. I'm telling his wife to come over here. Hey, come talk to him. Help me keep him awake. I'm like, where are you from? He's like, hey, I'm from Virginia. I was like, well, I'm from California, so we're both American.
It's close.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, buddy, it's going to be all right. We're going to get some beers after this. It's going to be okay. Just hold on. Hey, I'm hurt too. I almost got my thumb cut off here, so you're not the only one. And then, I was just trying to keep him awake. Yeah.
Check this out.
Yeah. But
All right. Well, let's take a look at what some of the live aftermath was.
So it took us about 30 minutes to get to the train station in Arras. So this is what the next 30 minutes looked like.
Avec 5-6 chargeurs, donc on va se calmer.
We're not worried about a broken arm.
Non, on l'a fixé.
With your finger in the guy's neck,
Il n'y a pas
right?
de souci, mais par contre, il y a le blessé.
There's bags.
Ça, c'est urgent. Ouais, pour le moment, on ne sait pas où il est, donc on va chercher, mais on ne peut pas tout faire.
All right, so Big moment, obviously.
Very big.
How are you doing now, physically? I mean,
I'm doing good.
Okay.
I'm still a little, stiff, but
Okay.
I can live.
all right. So you obviously, after the dust sort of settles and you get taken care of and they clear the train and all, you start on a whirlwind tour because people are celebrating what just happened. And the label hero gets thrown around a lot. I think this pretty much qualifies in every definition. This was heroic and courageous, and people know it when they see it, and they saw it. So you went on a whirlwind tour. So
Yep. First big show I did, I went to Jimmy Kimmel. I got to meet Klay Thompson, and they gave me a brand new Camaro. Yeah.
I forgot to ask this, and I've been thinking about this since we started talking a couple months ago. When after he was tied up and everybody's done, did you say anything really cool, Hollywood, like your ticket's been punched or anything like that?
No. I was like the out of control angry guy because at that point I was seeing red. I wanted to kill him. But my friend Alex, so nonchalant, he went, and thank God he had the presence of mind to take the gun and check the rest of the train. We were worried about another guy coming in, and just it was a bad situation from there. So he goes, makes sure no one else is there, comes back, and he's just kind of holding the AK like, well, that's Europe for you. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the new slogan on their marketing campaign. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So aside from that, how was France? No. All right.
Amazing.
So all right. So you go on a whirlwind tour. You meet celebrities. You meet all sorts of
Tons of people.
and eventually you get back home. You survived a terrorist attack, this violent confrontation, 2 shots to your noggin, don't happen. You survive this, you go back to the safety and comfort of Sacramento. And then you're stabbed outside a bar. Dude, what is up with that?
I don't know. I just keep
what
running
happened?
into bad people. So the whole thing is still in an investigation, so I can't give too many details. But long story short, I get stabbed in the heart. Collapsed my left lung. 1.5 inches away from my spinal cord. I was almost paralyzed. A knife went into my stomach as well, and a little laceration on the side here. But I am fine, just got a lot of scars. I had open heart surgery, exploratory surgery in my stomach. But a lot of people, when you get stabbed, you get stabbed in a major organ, you're going to have permanent damage for life. I walked away with no permanent damage, so I consider myself very lucky. I kind of walked away from the fight after I realized I had gotten stabbed. I thought I only got stabbed once in my back, and I was kind of like, okay, it's not too bad. And then I walk away, and I look down. There's blood here, blood there, blood here. And kind of like, again, are you serious?
Right.
And then taxi driver comes over to me. He's like, hey, you want me to drive you to the hospital? I'm like, last thing I'm doing is getting your taxi and dying on the way there. Just call 911, please. And then I kind of feel myself getting lightheaded. I get on the ground, and I just kind of drift away. And I thought I died. And then next thing I know, wake up, paramedics giving me a sternum rub saying, hey, wake up, wake up. And then from there on, I remember the whole ambulance ride, getting prepped for surgery. Chest tubes hurt. Don't get one of those. If you're going into the medical field, you'll know what I mean. Yeah.
All right, so in this whole process afterward, you were at the State of the Union address, you met the president, you've met celebrities, you've met all sorts of different folks, obviously. I do want to clarify one thing and just take this off the table, this craziness. You got promoted.
Yes.
You got promoted to staff sergeant. Was it a 1 or 2 step promotion?
Technically, it's not a step promotion. It's a promotion by the Chief of Staff of the Air Force.
Fair enough.
I was going to earn senior airman in October, and then I was promoted to staff sergeant once by the Chief of Staff on November 1st.
So it was basically a month plus the promotion.
Exactly.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're clear on that. So let's talk about reflection. Let's kind of crystallize in all of this, okay? First of all, as you're meeting celebrities and the president and all these different, you received awards from our country and from France.
And
correct?
Belgium.
Okay, and Belgium. Okay. It's the hat trick. Outstanding. What did you learn? What did you sort of walk away with in the process of meeting those folks and being involved in that and your State of the Union address? What did you take away from that?
Meeting all these people that you would consider, just these giant public figures. I think I walked away with, like, they're just people. and we're all just kind of like living for each other. And yeah, that's really it. I don't know. I can't get too deep with it. I haven't had too much time to really sit down and go through all my thoughts. It's been kind of still a whirlwind, especially getting injured. So I think it's a constantly evolving story.
You've got some of the pictures.
Yeah, I got some pictures, so that helps.
No, go ahead. Oh.
Oh, no. Yeah, that was my thumb injury after surgery. That was my neck. And, you know, I had a private 15-minute meeting with President Obama in the Oval Office. What else we got here? And then that was us receiving the Legion of Honor in France by President Hollande. Another great moment. And we were also, if it'll go, People magazine.
What I love about this is, since it's on People, we know they'll get the story right. It's got to be true if it's in People magazine. So you meet all these folks, they're celebrities, but when we were talking on the phone, you mentioned just the day before one of our phone conversations, a letter showed up in the mail from a French celebrity.
Yeah, so actually there was a pretty big famous French actor in our cabin. And I learned that he was on the train afterwards, but I've never heard anything from him. And then I get home a couple weeks ago, and there's a letter.
Let me clarify.
in the
He was
mail.
on the train with you.
Yes,
but afterwards
he was on
you
the.
find out.
He was there with the attack. And I get home, and I have a letter, and I open it up, and it was still photos of himself, his wife, and his 2 children, and that were all in the cab. And he had his kids write little notes and write a little castle with my name on it. And I think that was about one of the first times I got emotional about any of this, just to see their faces and see the lives I affected directly.
Because as it played out, he saw what was going on and tried to protect his family.
Yes, he
tried
did.
to take them into sort of a safe room at the end of the train, but that was occupied by
the French employees.
the French flight
and they
attendant.
were banging
wouldn't
on
open
the
the door.
door, really sad. They're banging on the door, and they wouldn't let him in. And so he left him, his wife, and 2 kids out there to die.
So had you not reacted, I think in the letter you mentioned, he said, we've told our children that this family would not be alive.
Yep, and he actually said in the letter that he has a photo of me in his children's bedroom to remind them why they're alive. So I think that's pretty amazing.
I told my family this story. I told them about that, and I had a hard time getting through it myself just because of the power of one action echoing in the lives of so many people. And those kids growing up only because of that action, but knowing that you're forever a fixture in their life and in their heart, and you never knew they were even on the train.
Exactly.
So powerful. All right, so you come out of this, you've had sort of 2 interesting moments. And then you've traveled the world and been immersed in this whirlwind sort of media tour. You've been stamped with this hero thing. Mm-hmm. People walking up to you just in the, over here. We're sitting down prepping for this, tap on the shoulder. I want to thank you, you're a hero. Would you mind coming over? The 2 women working over in Starbucks, they would love to meet you. I mean, this is just it now. Because I think you represent to so many people, it can be done. That does exist. And I think this is just me talking. It makes more sense because you're in that uniform.
Absolutely.
I think so. Do you feel this is a burden? Or how does this land with you? Does it sit with you as sort of, is it a blessing and is it sort of a burden? You can't just go out and live like any dude and get crazy because you have an asterisk next to you. Mm-hmm. This is what right looks like for our nation. There's a lot of hell yeah, America that sort of follows you around.
Yeah.
But there's also pride in the fact that you're part of this profession, and when the moment came, you responded. Do you feel the weight of this?
I do. I feel like everyone kind of wants a piece of me in a way, and it's kind of hard sometimes to balance, my personal life and everything else going on. It's not a bad burden to have. I'm very fortunate. I view it as I had an opportunity to do something good, and I took it.
So we're going to give you an opportunity. There's got to be 2 or 3 kind of nuggets that, as you crystallize this, what are your big takeaways?
So one of my big takeaways is, I told you guys earlier, is a part of leadership is being a spark in that situation, and enabling everyone else around you to do the right thing. And we kind of covered that, so we'll just take that for what it is and go on to the second one. And it's kind of a cliche one, but it's kind of a, you never know when is your worth to the world is going to be tested. When all the training and everything that you might have thought was useless get tested in one moment. And just know that God has a plan for you, and he's going to test you one day in one form or another. And you got to be ready.
So as we wrap this up, we're about to turn it over to Q&A here. I'll offer this. I can pretty much promise you this. You will never be attacked by a terrorist on a train in France. That moment will probably never come. And if it did, you go, okay, I know how I'm supposed to do this because I'll have my finger ready to plug somebody's neck and I've got this whole played out. You will never have that moment. But I can definitely promise you this. You will have a moment. You will have moments. They may be big moments, but they may be small moments. I need to confront that person. I need to stop this. I need to call, knock it off. I need to apologize. And there are pressures that, courage is not the absence of fear. It's doing it anyway, despite the fear. We all got that going on. There's across peers, across family. Sometimes it takes courage to praise someone. It's a little awkward socially, but I think what you offered us was, hey, Spencer, go. The moment's here, go. Ryan, go. Kevin, go. Sarah, go. You got to be ready. A guy named Aristotle, arguably not an idiot, right? I learned something in my philosophy class. But Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, it's a habit. So we're practicing something. We're either practicing being go people or not go people. And when the moment comes, like Ryan Keeney mentioned at the beginning, when the moment comes and the crisis is undeniably at hand, you won't find anything there other than what you put there yourself, that you've been practicing. So thank you for giving us a moment to ponder, but now the challenge to all of us, me included, is, so what are you going to do about this? So thank you for, first of all, thank you for what you've done, what you did in that moment, what you've done to demonstrate to our country what right looks like, what you've done to make our profession proud, and what you've done to challenge us tonight. You know what another moment sounds like? I don't want to be the first one to ask a question. I don't want to say anything stupid. Somebody else should go first. So, go. Q&A. Here we go. Spencer Stone.
Cadet First Class Garnett, I was just wondering if you could change your superpowers, would you rather be impervious to knives or bullets?
Bullets, because they'll kill you faster. You can get stabbed a lot and still live, so thank you.
And I have a second question. So when you got on the train, were you thinking, like, do you scan crowds now more than before, like trying to look for tells of people who might be more dangerous than others?
Oh yeah, I'm checking everyone out. If you came up to me, I'm checking your waistline, I'm checking everything. So I'm pretty paranoid nowadays. But,
what advice would you give to cadets here, like, of how we could learn more mental fortitude to be able to handle a high-pressure situation like that where someone's very likely to have the ability to kill you, and yet you still go for it?
Well, in my situation, there wasn't really a lot of options. You're in a box in the middle of the countryside with nowhere to go. So it was either
But so
sit
were
there.
25 other people.
Yeah, but I don't know, can't speak for them. But you're in a box with 25 people. There's nowhere to go. It's either sit there and get shot or you go. So my situation was a little easier. I didn't have any options. But if that situation were to ever happen to any of you guys, I would just give the same advice. I would just go, and you're going to be a spark and enable everyone else, and you're going to be able to overwhelm. That's all about is overwhelming a guy, getting up in his face, and disarming him with whatever he has, and doing the best you can. And if you happen to die, then it's your time, in my opinion.
Thank you very much.
Kind of a morbid answer, sorry. But
Thank you so much. I was just wondering, so the trajectory of your life has been violently changed because of this action.
Yes, ma'am.
And so it's affected you not only personally, but professionally. Do you see yourself going in the same direction in the medical field or the firefighting field, or perhaps a motivational speaker of some kind where you do this on a regular basis? Where do you see your future because of this?
well, if I was confused before, so now I'm even more confused on what I want to do with my life. But I mean, I love coming out and talking to crowds and inspiring people. I've always been really into motivational speeches. I don't know if you've ever heard of Les Brown, but he's one of my favorite. So I would love to do that. I'm thinking possibly becoming a foreign peace officer, and hopefully working in an embassy or maybe federal law enforcement or something along those
Do you
lines.
see yourself doing that through the United States military or civil service?
Can't tell. I got to go get my college education first, and then I'll come back.
Great answer.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hello, Sergeant. I'm Cadet First Class Rakota from Cadet Squadron 15. First, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here and giving us your time and your experiences that you shared. But my question for you is, you've had a lot of this big spotlight put on you from the experience that you shared. How has the people close to you, your family and your other close friends, been influenced by this in a positive, negative way, and how have they've kind of played into this with you being put on such a spotlight lately?
Well, I can tell you they're definitely tired of me, tired of hearing about me. They're like, we are just, every time they go on Facebook, I'm so sick of seeing your face. I don't want to hear about anything that's going on. I'm just like, I completely understand. I'm tired of myself. But I think it's been a very positive experience, even though my body's taken a beating. I've done, amazing things. Actually, when we were going to New York on my big media tour after everything had happened, it was one of the first times that me and my family had all been on an airplane together. So we've had amazing experiences together and been able to do incredible things. So I think it's been mostly positive.
All right, 2 more questions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, as a mother, you said you were a son of a single mom,
Yes, ma'am.
and what was your moment like when you saw her after the incident?
Which incident?
And both, but especially the trade incident, because I'm assuming she was in California and she's hearing about this, seeing pictures of you. I just can't imagine.
Thank you for the question, ma'am. She had found out about my status and everything. They were unclear. They just knew that someone got shot and someone got stabbed, and they just were like, well, we hope he just got stabbed, because my brother, he knows if you get shot with an AK-47, bad news, bullets going to bounce around your body, probably, and it's not going to be good. So when I picked up the phone, she, was obviously in tears, and I was just like, hey, it's okay, Mom. I just got cut a little bit. I'm fine. I'm in the hospital right now. Hopefully I'll see you soon at an embassy. Party in France.
And she's doing okay. And she's okay.
She's okay, yeah. She's been through it. I feel sorry for her, but she's a strong woman. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
So, Sergeant Stone, if you could tell us why it was that you initially joined the Air Force, and I'm also wondering, do you think you would have acted similarly had you not been in the military up to that point? Like, do you think you would have acted with the same valor and the same kind of passion in taking that guy down?
Well, I joined the military for college. I was unmotivated at the time. I needed direction in my life. I was a tough kid to raise. I didn't listen to anyone. And I joined to be a SEER specialist. I failed out of the school, got reclassed into medical, and it ended up, pushing me in the direction I needed to go in life anyway. So I'm glad that everything worked out the way it did. And then, sorry, what was your second part of the question? Sorry.
If you think you would have acted the same way without the 3 years in the Air Force that you had under your belt at that point?
I do believe I would have acted the same way, but I definitely wouldn't have had the training to save Mark or possibly myself. So maybe, yeah, I would have got up, but I probably wouldn't be able to get the job done. And the Air Force prepared me for that moment.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
And one more round of applause.
Thank you.